All right, LJ. How do we decide on what price we're going to list? And give us a little bit of info on how we got to that price.
Well, in my head, there's three different types of pricing.
Okay.
There's the price that the seller thinks their home is worth.
Yeah.
There's the price that a potential buyer is willing to pay for that home.
Okay.
And then there's a price that an appraiser is going to value that home at. So what we do in an initial listing consultation is we chat about an equity overview, and we also talk about what I think we touched on a little earlier is a CMA, right? Yep. CMA is a comparable market analysis. So we do our due diligence and we go through and we price homes in the neighborhood or within a mile radius, this, that, and the other of pending solds, tax records, things like that, to come up with what we think the home is going to appraise for. Because ultimately, that's what's important. Somebody might think that the seller, it's a seller, myself, right? Might think that my house is worth $500,000.
Exactly.
The buyer might walk in and say, hey, your house is only worth $300,000 because that's all I'm willing to pay.
Yeah.
Right? But in actuality, the appraiser says that it's worth $350,000. So our job is to talk to the seller and teach them how to bring it up to that $350,000 or even more potentially.
Yeah.
Because the appraised value is what really matters.
Yeah.
Why is that, you ask?
Yeah, good question.
It's a good question, right?
I was going to get there. Yeah.
Because a lender is only going to lend the amount the home is appraised for.
Okay.
So if you put a home under contract for $400,000 and the appraiser comes back and says, hey, this home's only worth $350,000, where are we going to get the other $50,000?
Got you.
Right? So that's why it's so important to hire the right real estate agent that's going to tell you exactly how much they think that your home is worth to get it as close to that appraised value, then get the home set up so that it sells for that or even more.
Okay. So let me ask you this, OJ. If I'm pre-approved for $400,000, okay, and I go under contract at $380, okay, but that appraisal only comes in at $360,
okay.
I'm still pre-approved to $400, so that lender is gonna, just give me that extra money, right, to hit that $380.
Well, no, they're not. The reason that they're not is because if I'm going to give you hundreds of thousands of dollars, it's going to be for a reason. And the reason is that asset, and that asset is that home.
Yep.
So if somebody says, hey, a professional walks out and says, hey, that house is only worth $360,000, I'm not going to hand you $380,000 in order to be able to purchase that.
It makes sense.
So it has to be worth what you're willing to pay for it.
Yep.
Now, that doesn't mean that we do everything properly and we get what's called an appraisal gap guarantee. So if you list your property properly, you have multiple offers, it's in a good neighborhood, all of the things, all the factors, all the stars are aligned, right? Mm-hmm. You get multiple offers. Some of those offers could come with what's called an appraisal gap guarantee, which means that the buyer is willing to bring cash to the table to make up that gap that you just spoke about.
Gotcha.
Now, it might not be $20,000, but $5,000, $10,000. So if a professional says your house is only worth $360, but somebody bought it for $370, now we're in business.
Got you.
Okay.
Yep. Makes sense.